Hey team, I hope everybody's going well. The tier set bonuses are out on the PTR, so I thought we'd have a quick look and let you know what I think about it. The tier set is only on the PTR, so it is subject to change, and I haven't actually played with it myself. It's just purely what's on my head. So the set bonus is consuming a Bone Shield charge has a chance to cause your next Heart Strike to apply Ashen Decay, reducing damage dealt to you by 10% and increasing your damage dealt to afflicted targets by 20% for 8 seconds. The Forced bonus is Soul Reaper's execute damage and Abomination Limbs damage applies Ashen Decay to enemy targets, and Heart Strike and Blood Boil's direct damage extends Ashen Decay by 1 second. So the first concern I kind of have here in terms of wording is the consumption of the Bone Shield charge has a chance to cause the next Heart Strike to apply Ashen Decay. The chance is obviously a proc. Depending on what the proc chance is, it could be a good bonus or it could be a little bit frustrating. So if the proc is quite rare and we apply the Ashen Decay on a bad target, then it just kind of ends up becoming a waste. But if it procs quite often, then it shouldn't really be an issue. The next bit is the consumption of the Bone Shield charge itself is not really what applies the DK, it's the next Heart Strike. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to focus on a priority target as much as possible during a pull and M+. So out of 10 targets or something like that, you don't want to select a target that's already on low health and is about to die. You don't want to put a debuff and a buff on that, because then you're just going to not make the most of it. Mouse over abilities, macros will come in really handy in the next season. The reduction damage and the buff is a bit weird in how they've worded it, so that there is an afflicted target, but so that's the one that you would deal damage to with extra 20%. But the damage reduction, it's a bit weird. I don't know if you also get a buff that reduces all of the damage you have incoming, or it's only from the afflicted targets. So if it's only from the afflicted targets, then potentially this is not that great. But just depends on how well this actually stacks up. Forced bonus. So the Soul Reaper's execute damage is actually just a sort of a raiding Death Knight situation. So potentially you're not taking Abomination Limb in some fights. You're going with Soul Reaper just for execute on the boss. So that's where that would be more useful. But in M+, you would normally go with Abomination Limb and stick to that. But it's nice to have a 2-minute application on all the enemies with Ashen Decay. 2 minutes is a bit long, but it will allow us for a nice quick burst on those enemies. So gonna have to work around Abomination and how we pull in those dungeons a little bit. The Heart Strike and Blood Boil's direct damage extends Ashen Decay. So the direct damage is applicable to Blood Boil, but I'm sure Heart Strike is not really affected by that. So the dot from the Blood Boil is not gonna increase the Ashen Decay. The 1 second kind of goes with our global cooldown. I think in a big pack with lots of enemies, it's probably better off. You're probably better off just spamming Heart Strike and Blood Boil, assuming you can survive. So Death Strike as you need to. But in a single target scenario, you potentially want to consider just using Death Strike to begin with, because it might just do more damage than either of those abilities, and it's just maybe not going to be worth extending the Ashen Decay if you're not actually making good use of it. The other thing is the bonus from the Shadowlands tier set comes to mind when thinking about like extension of abilities and things like that. The reason that was really powerful in Shadowlands was, first of all, the first iteration actually extended it longer than what it was going to be. So you could go from like it lasting from 10 seconds to lasting to 30 seconds just by extending it that way. So with 1 second, that's not going to happen. And the other part was that the Shadowlands one was extending the Dancing Rune weapon, which also gave you the ability to parry as well as hit back with a lot of your attacks. With this one, you don't get that parry chance, so it's not a survival. Another point to make about this set is that because Abomination Limb is the one that's being affected, that becomes kind of a mandatory skill that you have to take. I feel like the stats that we're going to have to focus on in the next season on the DK will need to be pretty haste heavy, just so you can have more attacks within those 8-second windows. In the current season, I'm not too worried about keeping track of the buff, the vampiric blood strength that it gives you. It's a bit random. All I do is primarily spam vampiric blood. As soon as it's off cooldown, I try and use it on the fight, unless I feel like it's really not going to have much effect. I feel like this is going to be the same with this bonus. It's basically just going to be go with the flow and not worry too much about what's going to happen. Maybe you can make better use of it if you keep track of it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below if you like, or pop into my stream sometime and just have a chat. Everybody's welcome. Thanks, team. Talk to you later.